like the eternal city that is Rome, where the ecclesiastical splendor of the Renaissance completely enthralls the imagination. The dome of St. Peter's rises upwards like a heavenly choir. From the topmost pinnacle, the centuries that are Rome spread out in everlasting significance.
Hello. Welcome everyone to this Valentine's Day show. Put together on a short notice. Our planned show got canceled and moved to Friday, and that'll be over the divine attributes and natural theology. So a real theological heavy show. If you're interested in that, that'll be at 8 p.m. Friday Eastern Time. But so far we have Catholics on record. Welcome to the show. He's a frequent guest and previous interviewee. So we'll probably have some more people join in a bit later, but we don't really have much planned for today, no topics or anything. So we'll just start out on a topic. Catholics on record, do you have anything on your mind? Put the hot spot on you.
Hot spot is on me. Well, I can tell about my day yesterday. So I ran into a priest from a local parish, so we got to talking about, I don't know how we got to talking about vocations and dating and stuff, but I pointed out to him that in any vocation you date, and it doesn't matter what vocation you're dating in some capacity to figure out where you're supposed to be, and he liked that. So I mean,
yeah,
vocations is a good topic.
Yeah. So did you ever consider the priesthood, or?
I still am. Yeah. No, you can consider a vocation for a long time. It's just I did consider the priesthood on a serious note. I did.
Mm-hmm. And
I went to a what they call come and see retreats. I went to a couple of them. One with the diocese, and then another with Glen Mary Home Missionaries. Shout out to them. Mm-hmm. That was a weekend long retreat where they took us around the area of the parish we were working at to put church, some kind of church in that area. Work with the other churches.
Yeah,
and there's a missionary field kind of order.
It's pretty cool. So, for the viewers, you're married now.
Yep.
So you didn't go that route, but
nope.
What led you to marriage over, say, just going the priest route, becoming a priest? Was there anything in particular that drew you to marriage?
Well, I guess it's I wanted to have my own family, my biological children, and have a biological wife. I meant a married wife and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to have that kind of natural way to seek the supernatural, just kind of that natural vocation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted in the end.
Yeah, so it's not like a dogma that priests can't get married. It's only a disciplinary action, but
yeah, it's married men, and especially in the East, so you could be married in the East, and you can become a deacon and a priest. But if you're a priest already or a deacon, you can't get married at all because you're already pledged yourself to the church in that capacity.
So does that apply to the Eastern Catholic churches as well, or?
Yeah, it's the marriage before priesthood for the men applies exclusively for the Eastern. There are some that if you come from a Protestant background, like the Anglican, you can join the Anglican ordinariate and go that route.
Yeah. My church has an ordinariate group at it.
Nice.
They do mass at 6 o'clock on Sundays. I've never been. It's a bit too late for me, but.
Yeah, they say it's the TLM in English.
Yeah. And I've seen some people prefer that over the Latin Mass.
Yeah.
I think it's more understandable to them, or they prefer having the mix.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to one?
No, I really want to go to one. I actually inquired today while I was out and about doing errands. I actually inquired to a group, like a community out here, to see if they had an Anglican ordinary at mass anytime soon. So I want to
Yeah.
go to it and look at it.
Yeah, the previous guest, Jeremy Howitzer, I think I pronounced his last name correctly, but that's where he goes,
Okay.
to the Anglican Church. Or not the
Yeah.
Anglican Church, the ordinary mass, I guess is the best way to call it.
Yeah.
Previously Anglican, coming over to
Nice.
Catholicism. So, do you know much about that story about like Pope Benedict allowing the Anglicans to come over?
I've heard some things. I don't know much about it. I'm
Yeah,
glad it happened. It opens
me.
up a wide possibilities of things that could, you know, happen for other Protestant groups. You
Yeah, and I
know.
think just a week ago, like the Church of England was talking about changing um, God's pronouns or whatever to gender neutral, like
Oh, okay.
they instead of he.
How would that work? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I guess in their liturgies and stuff, like the official Church of England was talking about doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that could work. Because that's how God revealed himself. So it's like trying to change the deposit of faith. You can't really do that. But oh
Yeah,
well.
just I don't know. Once you separate from Catholicism, you open yourself up to
Hmm.
errors. Like the Eastern Orthodox, like they just rejected the Trinity. All
Yeah.
right, not the Trinity, the Filioque. It's getting late on me, but
Well, I guess if you reject the filioque, you're rejecting part of the Trinity because that's how it.
yeah,
But there are some Eastern Catholic churches that they allow to say the proceeds from the Father, not just the Father and the Son. So we shouldn't say it's a complete rejection, but it's
mhm,
allowed because for the Eastern Catholics, they're still in communion with Rome and they're still expressing the same, the same faith as we are.
yeah. Uh, do you know much about the Filioque way? To give us another topic. That's a hard one.
I wish we had Eric Ybarra on here. I really do because he knows a lot about that.
Yeah,
He could
that's
talk all day about that. I think he wrote a book about the filioque
yeah. I have it
recently.
in the background there. I don't know if the name tag's blocking it, but it's on the right there.
Nice.
I got to read that first, and then I'll try to have them on.
Mhm.
That's a big book too, like 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
And, I've talked to him before. Like an interesting story is that when I was writing that papacy document, have you ever seen that? Like
Um.
a resource. It's not really
Yeah.
it's not a book, but it's a resource, I guess.
Like an apologetic resource.
Yeah.
I think I've seen. I think you've linked
Well,
it
it's
to me.
just like, yeah, it's 240 pages of like just quotes from the early Christians and the councils and all that. Just bare bones, no interpretations, no analysis or anything. And so when I was doing the research for that, putting it all together, there was like these letters from Saint Boniface that I didn't believe were real, because it was like Saint Boniface taking a pledge of allegiance to the Pope.
Hmm.
It's like it was really over the top. I thought it was like a fake or something, but then I asked Ibarra about it. I saw him on Discord, and um, he actually sent like a picture of Saint Boniface's book. Like he had the book in print, like this rare book that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
He said really monotone. Yep, they're real. I enjoy them. I'll actually try to find those. Bring them up on the screen here.
Have you ever been to an Orthodox liturgy?
No,
Okay.
there's there's one in the city close by, but it's a far drive. So
Yeah. I went to one a while back for a little bit, a couple times during I think it was like last Lent. I went to there for a little bit. That was really fascinating. Might have been 2 years ago. I don't know. But it was really fascinating.
And for the viewers, I think we have 2 viewers. We're going to do a Lent show either next Tuesday or Wednesday. Not sure yet. Probably Tuesday would be better, I think. So on Wednesday, people will be going to church or
Yeah.
going to mass. So yeah, we can save most of our Lent conversation for that, but
hmm
we can do a little bit here, I guess.
Yeah, get ready. It's on the way.
Yeah.
Great Lent is he almost here.
I don't have my St. Thomas Aquinas book, but it's like St. Thomas Aquinas meditations, going through each day of Septuagesima Sunday. So like 2 weeks ago, going to Good Friday. So that's just something you look at every night and then meditate on, and that's been really good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to. I'm still
I've been
looking
doing
for quotes.
I'm trying to think what I've been doing. I've been reading St. Alphonsus Liguori's Preparation for Death.
Oh, that's a favorite of mine.
That's a tough read. That'll scare the hell out of you.
That's he actually has like scarier stuff. I'm not sure what works I'm thinking of, but like he has like tons of writing. So I've read a bunch of like compilations and just like excerpts from different writings, but like when he's talking about like just committing mortal sin and like you don't know if you'll have a chance to confess it after, like it really puts the fear of hell in someone.
Yeah. I think one time I meditated on the fear of hell, and I thought of it as like kind of like a black hole, kind of like swallowing you up on the inside, like you just caving in on the inside, and it'd be eternally like that forever. Like it's painful and you can never escape. That's what I meditated. I threw a little bit of science in there, but I mean, it worked for me. It scared me. So
Yeah. Well, I think like Ecclesiastes, fear is the beginning of wisdom. Like, it's like the last line of Ecclesiastes.
yeah.
Yes. What do you think the difference is between fear and love, or like the dilemma, like fearing God and loving God?
So fear is respect and love is charity. I guess it's the amount of charity you want to put into it, or you allow yourself to be enraptured by. Because fear of the Lord is just respecting piety. Fear of the Lord is like filial respect. Like I respect somebody, I fear somebody, I respect them. I fear my parents, I respect them. The fear of the Lord is you respect the Lord and you have piety and stuff. But I guess love of the Lord is like charity, like a kind of agape charity. You love Him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength,
Yeah.
and yeah.
I'm not sure if that relates like the St. Paul quote, like that love is the end of fear. Like there's something about that, but like, I think that's definitely a dangerous thing. Like that's something that scrupulous or people with scruples struggle with. It's
Yeah,
just they fear God, but they don't love God.
yeah. Or they may think they love God, but then they allow the scruples to take over, and yeah,
Yeah. So we're also going to do a plan. There's a planned show to be about loving God. It's going to be the entire topic.
nice.
I don't want to get too much into that, but we might have talked about that in your interview this last week. But
Yeah,
how was that, a baby or a cat?
that beats me. I don't even know half the time. No, that was just a baby. She's not happy.
No.
Yeah, she'll be all right.
Yeah, you can take a minute away if you need to.
No. Meg, my wife's watching her, so um,
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, how does someone grow in loving God? How do they grow that relationship? In your
Well, I would say it's like adoration is a very quick way of doing that. Loving God is a very quick way of doing that. So if you love God, you spend time with the person you love. So outside of mass, outside of your necessary, like, I guess put in more basic terms, going to mass is like in a way going on a date with that person that is God, that is, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And then outside of that, you spend time with that person. So on a natural level, you have dates. Since it's Valentine's Day, you have dates, and then you have times you spend outside with that person. Besides
Yeah,
days, you just hang out. You go do errands, you go pray with them, and it's the same thing. Adoration is kind of like that extra dating time outside the formal first date, second date kind of thing.
yeah. So, like some people struggle with adoration. Do you have any advice for people in that situation that they like they'll stare at the host, but they can't see Jesus, I guess, or like they'll struggle with things that they can't see. I guess that's just a struggle of faith in general. But
Well, they should remember that the first stage of the interior life is having consolation. So if they're actually staring at the host and not feeling anything, that's like they're pretty. God's trusting them. Um,
yeah,
God is giving them a lot of responsibility when they don't. Like if I stare at Jesus, if I stare at the host, and like I just think I see nothing there, and I take that as a great grace, and I'm like, yeah, God, you're trusting me. Thank you for this. I know you're still there,
mhm,
even though you're not showing yourself in a consolation or just it's. And then sometimes you'll have like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you'll have like that kind of like you feel your soul being drawn to the Eucharist, and you feel your heart being replaced with His heart, stuff like that.
yeah.
Um,
I think there's a certain peace that comes when you're in adoration,
mhm.
like just being there.
Yeah,
So I have a private adoration chapel just 10 minutes away from my house, and so
nice.
like if I'm having a hard day at work, I'll just stop by there after just like even 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'll leave completely at peace. Like
Yeah.
just for the rest of my day, I'll enjoy that peace.
Hmm. And you can break up the holy hour too if you have problems sitting still. Like I do, I break it up. Like I'll do 15 minutes here, and then I'll do 15 minutes here, and then maybe I'll do another day, do 15 minutes. I'll just do my holy hour. I would start out with a holy hour per week and break it up, and then like put it all together and like piece it all together later. Like
Yeah, it's pretty
that's what I would
good.
do.
Yeah, I often find myself spending like an hour in there unplanned because
Hmm.
I'll kind of start to pray and then I'll read and then there's even like a piano in there and so I just get distracted with all these things, I guess. But
Yeah, I
it's
remember it
always
was Saint.
beneficial.
Huh?
What was that?
I was gonna say it was Saint Teresa of Avila. She said if you ever get distracted, just make a little reparation and then just focus right back on the tabernacle or the
Yeah.
host, and then just center yourself back.
Hmm. That's um that's like one of the main things about the spiritual life is just not getting distracted.
Yeah, it's
Um,
hard for a reason.
yeah. Um, well, I think Saint Augustine said, "God, if the world wasn't necessary to know God, God wouldn't have created the world for us to know Him."
Hmm.
So, like the world exists, the things in the world exist so that we can like comprehend God in a way,
Yeah,
like just by looking at what He created. I guess there's a certain field of study that's called, but
trying to think. Field of
some
study. What is it?
some theological term.
Yeah, what's it dealing with? The theology of spirituality, or is it?
Um, I don't know. it wouldn't qualify as like divine revelation, but just like because God created everything that is, and so everything has to have some like a piece of the character of God or whatever, like an aspect.
Okay, yes. Like if I study like the trees or the flowers, or I study people, I see an aspect of God in them, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a beautiful theology, though.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the name. I don't know if like Saint Isidore. I don't know if you ever heard of him. I think he was in that area.
Yeah.
I know he wrote like how Aristotle wrote like a big not a dictionary, but just it has everything in it, like and it tells what it is. Like I think he did something similar, but maybe put a Christian twist to it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Saint Isidore Seville.
Yeah,
Okay.
some book by him, but
Yeah. He's patron of the internet, right? Along with do I get the card? Yeah, here I get her. This guy right here. If you recognize him.
oh yeah,
Oh
Carlo
yeah.
Acutis.
The red polo and the watch. I mean, and the hair. Yeah, everybody recognizes this. But let's see. Let's
Yeah,
load up there. Yeah. This is a holy card, I think, of him.
yeah, I respect him a lot. Just I guess I'm guessing you do too, just for being writers online. Like he was one of the first, I guess.
He was the
Early 2000s.
proto evangelist online.
Yeah, I think his website's still up and running.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll put that in the chat.
Then there's a lot of somebody said blessed Carlo Acutis. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So see, he's getting more recognizable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and another. So me and my family have two blesseds. Well, this other one's not blessed, but she will be. Was Mars. Hey Mars. Blessed Carlo Acutis and Sister Clara Crockett. I think I mentioned her a while back. Yeah, me and my family have devotions to those two. We hope to see them as saints.
Yeah.
In the near future. Do you know her Sister Clara Crockett's story?
No, haven't heard of that at all.
Oh my goodness! This So basically, it was a girl who would almost. I mean, she could have been in Hollywood for like now, but she almost made it to Hollywood, and she completely left all that, went to become a nun, and at 33 years old, she died in an earthquake, and now her cause for canonization is being considered, or is it being opened? I don't know.
I've heard that story before. I just never put the two and two together.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah, that's.
And then there's a servant of God, Paolo. I get all this information from like Jeremy Chong from YouTube. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
He does like different like servant of God stories, blessed venerables. He did one of this servant of God, Paolo. I can't think of the last name, but she was a girl that had a love for Jesus, and like her story is being spread along like Sister Claire Crockett. And I got, I believe I got in touch with one thing led to another, but he left her mom's email on there, so I got into contact with the mom from that.
Yeah.
From that servant of God, and she was going to send me the her story on. So I got the story on email, so I got to read it in English, but
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, lots of young people, young holy people in this world.
Yep, and I think Carlo Acutis is like the first from this millennium, isn't he? The first.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully of many to come.
Yeah, we're at a great age of saints.
Yeah.
So. Oh man, that reminds me. I know you've been on the RC server, the Roman Catholicism server.
Mm-hmm.
We joke all the time. Be like, well, what if one of us becomes like a patron of Discord? And it's like we joke, and then we're like, oh, we should have said that. I'm never the one that starts this, by the way. I'm just like saying they start it, and no, but
yeah. Well, I think there's lots of new areas.
Yeah.
sort of unmapped. We talked about that last time.
Hmm.
It's like you actually had the new idea of giving people homework,
Yeah.
like if your courses. So that's
Yeah.
it's a really novel idea.
Yeah. It's still like, oh yeah, yeah, I know this person.
There's yeah, all the viewers, if y'all have any questions, we'll answer them.
Yeah, please, questions. That would be
All
good.
up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good show so far, just going off the top of our heads.
Yeah.
I
I
think
remember this is just completely off topic, but I remember a while
mhm.
ago I wanted, like, when it was discerning priesthood, I wanted to start a religious order based on, like, we just go into, like, it's kind of like how Mother Teresa did. Just go into, like, kind of like it, but it's different. You go into, like, nursing homes, and you don't evangelize, you don't, like, try and convert. If they want to talk about it, then good. You just go into nursing homes and sit with the old people and keep them company for an hour.
Yeah,
I wanted to
I
start
think
that, but it never got any headway.
that's probably the best way of evangelizing amongst
Yeah.
people, just giving an example or
Hmm.
whatever. Like just today, my coworker, he was talking about how the monks, um, where I work, they supplied water to his family's home, like probably 80 years ago, and like he still remembers that. It's like the monks, they're known for helping out the community. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
They'll donate like chocolate and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll get me to deliver that since not many of them drive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This topic popped in my head. Have you ever interacted with the homeless population
Um,
in any
Not
capacity?
extensively.
Okay.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Have you ever interacted with the homeless population, like in any capacity?
Yeah, just like briefly, I guess, passing by
Yeah.
'em or
Yeah. If you ever get like time, interact with them a lot. Like if you have time to speak with somebody, they love to speak with people and like just
yeah.
talk. They're very devout religious people, even though they may not be Catholic. They're very devout religious Christian people out there for the most part.
Mhm.
They find God better than we do. They're happy. I mean,
Yeah.
apart from being like homeless, they're happy in like a very spiritual way. The poor in spirit, they're very detached from the world, and they live kind of like on the bread of others. You know, the bread.
Yeah. No, actually, that reminded me. I made a video about like it was a excerpt from Saint Alphonsus, like about a beggar on the street, and like
Hmm.
he knew God perfectly, um, just from his experiences of being like a beggar. And I might
Yeah,
actually try to bring that up on the stream. It's only like a minute and a half long. That'd be cool to watch.
yeah.
But yeah, I was. Do you know the name of Carlo Acutis's website?
I don't off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I think like Italian or something.
Yeah, not my specialty Italian, but hopefully one day.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, it's gonna take me a minute. I gotta convert the file. That'll take
Yeah.
to MP4, I think.
Well, in that time, you said it's a minute. You said it'll take a minute.
Yeah, go ahead if you have a topic. It'll take
I
a
have a
minute.
good topic. How do you personally find joy in life?
Ooh, I think, uh, well, knowing God, but like that gives a purpose to my life, knowing that I'm not just like an animal.
Mhm.
Uh, I guess it's like the nihilistic point of view, but
Yeah.
I think taking delight in the small things of life is also very important.
Mhm.
Like, for example, just sitting down for a meal and turning on classical music, um, a glass of wine.
Yeah,
that meal. But
just like doing it by yourself is the cool thing too. And it's
yeah,
just like it's just it's you and the Trinity and all of heaven with you. It's like makes you happy.
yeah, and like it's funny you mentioned that. Like when I say the blessing or whatever, I'll say like, I'll just invite God to share in the meal with me, like
Hmm.
some of the saints, like my guardian angel, Saint Alphonsus, of course.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think I heard that from Father Mike. When you're enjoying like a moment, just invite God into the moment. And that's a way of like praying continuously. So
hmm,
you're constantly in God's presence.
yeah.
That's really good.
I was just thinking that about that joy thing too. It's like in a world so dark, how do we maintain joy? How do we maintain happiness or put a smile on our face even when times seem dark and stuff? You just got to do it, will it. Like St. Thomas Aquinas says, how do you become a saint? You will it.
Hmm.
You just
Yeah.
go ahead and just do the thing. Cooperate. Yeah.
Well, I think like anyone can become a saint. That's something
Hmm.
hard to grasp for most people, but like
Yeah.
God wants us to become saints.
Yeah.
Uh, be perfect like your Father is perfect
Mm.
in heaven.
Yeah. And people ask me sometimes like, "Oh, Matthew, like, what's one way to be holy, or what's one way to do like you can actually like?" They won't ask me if I can, but they'll be like, "If you're a
Mm,
saint, that means you can heal people and stuff. Like, why not? Who says you have to?" But I get the kind of the disclaimer. Who says it has to be physical healings? Like when you talk to somebody, you can heal somebody's soul that way. Because
yeah.
people are lonely and stuff, and they need a presence, or like you can cure the sick. I mean, it doesn't have to be physical healings. I mean, that's just a bonus. Because when Jesus came to heal the sick, he healed their soul first and then their body. You see that
Hmm.
all through the Gospels.
Why do you think that is? Why did Jesus act through these small, not even miracles, I guess. I don't know if you call them that, but instead of doing like these huge miracles, he did the small things.
I
It's
thought
like by
about that.
helping individuals.
Yeah, like kind of like helping one person at a time, kind of that deal. Or
Yeah, just making smaller impacts, like on just like an individual person, like instead of, um, I guess is what
like
I was
go.
getting at is um, like even most saints are unrecognizable to people that see them. Um,
Mhm.
like people think that if you're going to be like a saint, you have to be working miracles or
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah. I think like the problem is that people will they'll direct their attention towards the miracles while being distracted from God. It's like Saint Francis de Sales said, um, "Love the God of delights, but don't love the delights of God."
Hmm.
So loving the source, but not the what comes from the source.
Yeah, I can give an example with confession. Since I've talked about that a lot. Um, you'll have two types of parishes. You'll have a parish that does not do confession at all, and
Hmm.
then you'll see like the communion lines will be heavy, but then there won't be as much spirituality there. Or then you'll see a parish that'll do heavier communion line. I mean heavier confession times, like hours upon hours. The confession, the communion lines may or may not be, but you'll see you can tell there's like a stark spiritual difference. That's the
Hmm.
kind of miracle. And that can start from just like one person showing up in confession on a frequent basis. Doesn't have to be the priest. They could just see it has a ripple effect. You throw a
Yeah.
stone in a pond. In the middle of a pond has a big ripple. One person can change the world. Just one person going to confession regularly may inspire two people, and then those two people inspire four people, and then so on and so forth. And so it's just like spirit, like the spiritual life is a ripple. It's like a butterfly effect. It's a ripple effect. It just
Hmm.
spreads like wildfire. That's what the Holy Spirit does.
Yeah, it really does. You just look at the history of Christianity from
Mm,
like just a couple thousand people to the official religion of the Western world.
Yep.
And that was 300 years, not even 300, just like 270 or so, I think.
That's a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
I mean, the first track record wasn't as good because what did he have? About like 85% or 90% of the disciples left. 10% was a traitor, and then the other one was devout. I mean, one out of 12 disciples, one stayed to help Jesus. One out of 12, 1/12 of his church or the church body stayed at that time. So that's not a good track record. But look where we are now. We have billions of Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, numbers and quantity don't matter. It's just the quality of the situation and the person that matters.
Yeah, and like even after the Protestant Revolution, I like the term revolution. Like even though the Catholic Church lost, I don't know how much it would be, like just 100 million or so, they gained 200 million through the Americas in the New World, those New World converts.
Yeah, from the Tilma. I believe the Tilma of Our Lady.
Mm-hmm. But and like even now, the Catholic Church is growing in Africa and Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though it's losing Europe or Europe's losing it.
Yeah, it'll go to Africa and Asia, and then once that settles, they'll come and evangelize Europe again, and it's probably it's kind of a back and forth.
That's like actually an historical trend though, because I don't know if you ever heard of like Great Britain evangelizing like France or whatever, but France originally evangelized Great Britain, or like you see like St. Patrick going to Britain, converting the pagans and whatnot, but then like I think it became pagan again like soon after him, St. Patrick. But yeah, I can play his video for us now. Give us a brief break. It'll be good, I guess. It's not you won't see it in a theater, but it's good enough for a YouTube video. So trying to bring it up here. There we go.
The devout Father John Taylor relates this personal experience. For years he had prayed God to send him someone who would teach him the real spiritual life. One day at prayer he heard a voice saying, "Go to such and such a church and you will have the answer to your prayers." He went, and at the door of the church he found a beggar, barefooted and in rags. He greeted the mendicant, saying, "Good day, my friend." "Thank you, sir, for your kind wishes, but I do not recall ever having had a bad day." "Then God has certainly given you a very happy life." "That is very true, sir. I have never been unhappy. In saying this, I am not making any rash statement either. This is the reason. When I have nothing to eat, I give thanks to God. When it rains or snows, I bless God's providence. When someone insults me, drives me away, or otherwise mistreats me, I give glory to God. I said I've never had an unhappy day, and it's the truth. Because I'm accustomed to will unreservedly what God wills. Whatever happens to me, sweet or bitter, I gladly receive from His hands as what is best for me. Hence my unvarying happiness." "Where did you find God?" "I found Him where I left creatures." "Who are you anyway?" "I am a king." "And where is your kingdom?" "In my soul, where everything is in good order, where the passions obey reason, and reason obeys God." "How have you come to such a state of perfection?" "By silence. I practice silence towards men, while I cultivate the habit of speaking with God. Conversing with God is the way I found and maintain my peace of soul." Union with God brought this poor beggar to the very heights of perfection. In his poverty he was richer than the mightiest monarch. In his sufferings he was vastly happier than the worldlings amid their worldly delights.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I listened to every word. I like that.
It's good stuff. It's from the Alphonse's Uniformity with God's Will. Just it's a really short book. I don't think you call it a book. 30 pages or so. A treatise, maybe.
Yeah. I actually have that book somewhere lying around. I got to read it when I get a chance.
Yeah, I got it right here. There we go. You got the same thing?
Nice, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the same one. Yep.
I think it's about 10 books. So
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. There's I'll show you my Alphonsus collection. The History of Heresies.
Oh, nice.
This is actually a real cool book. It's like a digital copy, of like a book from the 1900s or so. So like the fonts and all that are very old. Forgotten books. That's what they're called. They'll have to sponsor us now.
Yeah.
This is also, I recommend this, Classics of Western Spirituality. You have quite a bit of different works in here. I think I don't know if you can see like the titles and stuff, but
yeah,
just pretty much a bit of everything. His letters and pretty cool saint.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think if there's any more cool books. Pull up here. Got one more, I think. Have you ever heard of this guy, Saint Peter Canisius?
Oh, Canisius, yeah. Oh,
this is it's an autobiography, but it's like 1,000 pages from the 1900s. Like, I found it in a bookstore, but you can't find it online. Like,
wow.
Even in a PDF or something like that, you can't find it at all.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. It mixes his own writings with like the story of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes like from the time he was a 20-year-old boy up until like his adulthood, I guess, during the Protestant Revolution.
Yeah.
I love using that term.
Reformation. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I guess like there was the Counter Reformation, and that actually did reform the church. But I think in a way the Protestants did reform the church, but they kind of destroyed a lot. So that's why I like that term.
Yeah, that snatched just a lot of souls away.
Mm-hmm.
Calvinism's especially Calvinism. I think did a lot of damage.
Yeah,
you see that in the writings and the life of Saint Francis de Sales, that he describes Calvinism very harshly.
Yeah, I need to read that. I know what you're talking about. The Catholic Controversy. Is that the?
He's not holding back on it.
Yeah. Just that book I brought up a second ago, The History of Heresies. That's he was going pretty hard at Calvinism as well, St. Alphonsus.
Oh, man, I can't. I will eventually write my book on Calvinism, but it's going to take a while. Did I tell you about that book I was writing? I think I told you about that a while back. I don't know.
You might have mentioned like the title, but it's
called
the title.
Yeah, Tiptoe Through the Tulip. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. I remember it now.
That title just worked out naturally. It had to have been a godsend because it just can't be anything else.
What do you think the main problem with Calvinism is? Or finish your thought first. You had some.
I don't remember, but I think the main problem with Calvinism is it's not so much self-refuting, because if it were self-refuting, it wouldn't stick as well. it's the main problem is it doesn't give any. It's true. It promotes certain things that it can call as true, but there's no
Predestination.
charity in Calvinism. There's no love in Calvinism. It's just all harsh. It's rigidity, very rigid, like letter of the law kind of deal.
Well,
I think
did
that's
you know that Calvin was a humanist lawyer? I think it was.
Hmm.
So, I've heard this somewhere, but like Calvin basically took his view of God from like the Greeks and the Romans, because that's what humanists did. They went back and looked at the Greeks and the Romans. They skipped over all of the Christian years, all of the Middle Ages. And so like the Greeks, they believed in fate. So that's what Calvin
Yeah.
believes, like, because fate doesn't account for free will. There's no free will. Things happen by chance, I guess, or the gods will it, like Zeus and all them. So
Yeah.
Calvin like kind of took that idea, being a humanist, and brought it to the Protestant Revolution. I about said Reformation. Out myself.
You like that term, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to
Yeah.
like it more and more too. Just saying it.
Yeah.
It rose off
Well,
the tongue.
I pulled up the table of contents I'm working on, and at the end of it, I'm going to be talking about in part 3 is the variants. There's variants of Calvinism that are just as bad, like Neo Calvinism, and I don't know much about these, but the names probably can give it away. Hyper Calvinism, you see that with a lot of Calvinists. Like New Calvinism, stuff like that. So yeah, this book hopefully will be. I get working on, it'll be good.
Yeah, I think you were correct, I guess. Robert Bellarmine, Saint Robert Bellarmine, he said the main problem of Calvin is that he was afraid to admit how much God loves us. As you just see, like within the Calvinist system, like God can create people and then he can hate them. So that's just like antithetical to anything Christianity has ever taught. Like if you ask a lot of these people, like where can you find that in the church fathers, they won't have an answer. It's a new doctrine, and that's exactly what St. Paul is warning against: the wolves in sheep's clothing. Ooh, I think he lagged out there. Just me now, so there's 2 viewers. So if y'all have any questions, y'all can ask them in the chat, and I'll try to respond. I don't know if y'all already saw the video, but I'll roll it again. Just the video I made yesterday.
The devout father, John Taylor, relates this personal experience. For years he had prayed God to send him someone who would teach him the real spiritual life. One day at prayer he heard a voice saying, "Go to such and such a church and you will have the answer to your prayers." He went, and at the door of the church he found a beggar, barefooted and in rags. He greeted the mendicant, saying, "Good day, my friend." "Thank you, sir, for your kind wishes, but I do not recall ever having had a bad day." "Then God has certainly given you a very happy life." "That is very true, sir. I have never been unhappy. In saying this, I am not making any rash statement either. This is the reason. When I have nothing to eat, I give thanks to God. When it rains or snows, I bless God's providence. When someone insults me, drives me away, or otherwise mistreats me, I give glory to God. I said I've never had an unhappy day, and it's the truth. because I'm accustomed to will unreservedly what God wills. Whatever happens to me, sweet or bitter, I gladly receive from his hands as what is best for me, hence my unvarying happiness. Where did you find God? I found him where I left creatures. Who are you anyway? I am a king. And where is your kingdom? In my soul, where everything is in good order, where the passions obey reason, and reason obeys God. How have you come to such a state of perfection? By silence, I practice silence towards men, while I cultivate the habit of speaking with God. Conversing with God is the way I found and maintain my peace of soul. Union with God brought this poor beggar to the very heights of perfection. In his poverty, he was richer than the mightiest monarch. In his sufferings, he was vastly happier than the worldlings amid their worldly delights.
So we're still waiting for Papa Mateo to join back, or Catholics on Record, as y'all would know him by. But he'll be back in just a minute, so if y'all have any questions, y'all can ask him in the chat. I don't have much material to talk about, so I'll just play some more video. Letter 2 to Theodosius and the rest of the anchorites, written from Antioch in 374 AD, while Jerome was still in doubt as to his future course. Theodosius appears to have been the head of the solitaries in the Syrian desert. How I long to be a member of your company, and with uplifting of all my powers to embrace your admirable community, though indeed these poor eyes are not worthy to look upon it. Oh, that I could behold the desert lovelier to me than any city. Oh, that I could see those lonely spots made into a paradise by the saints that throng them. But since my sins prevent me from thrusting into your blessed company, a head laden with every transgression, I adjure you, and I know that you can do it, by your prayers to deliver me from the darkness of this world. I spoke of this when I was with you, and now in writing to you I repeat anew the same request. For all the energy of my mind is devoted to this one object. It rests with you to give effect to my resolve. I have the will but not the power. This last can only come in answer to your prayers. For my part, I am like a sick sheep astray from the flock. Unless the good shepherd shall place me on his shoulders and carry me back to the fold, my steps will totter, and in the very effort of rising I shall find my feet give way. I am the prodigal son, who, although I have squandered all the portion entrusted to me by my father, have not yet bowed the knee in submission to him. Not yet have I commenced to put away from me the allurements of my former excesses, and because it is only a little while since I have begun not so much to abandon my vices as to desire to abandon them, the devil now ensnares me in new toils. He puts new stumbling blocks in my path. He encompasses me on every side. The seas around and all around the main. I find myself in mid-ocean, unwilling to retreat and unable to advance. It only remains that your prayer should win for me the gale of the Holy Spirit, to walk me to the haven upon the desired shore. Letter 2 to Theodosius and the rest of the anchorites, written from Antioch in 374 AD, while Jerome was still in doubt as to his future course. Theodosius appears to have been the head of the solitaries in the Syrian desert. How I long to be a member of your company, and with uplifting of all my powers to embrace your admirable community, though indeed these poor eyes are not worthy to look upon it. Oh, that I could behold the desert lovelier to me than any city. Oh, that I could see those lonely spots made into a paradise by the saints that throng them. But since my sins prevent me from thrusting into your blessed company, a head laden with every transgression, I adjure you, and I know that you can do it, by your prayers to deliver me from the darkness of this world. I spoke of this when I was with you, and now in writing to you I repeat anew the same request. For all the energy of my mind is devoted to this one object. It rests with you to give effect to my resolve. I have the will but not the power. This last can only come in answer to your prayers. For my part, I am like a sick sheep astray from the flock. Unless the good shepherd shall place me on his shoulders and carry me back to the fold, my steps will totter, and in the very effort of rising I shall find my feet give way. I am the prodigal son, who, although I have squandered all the portion entrusted to me by my father, have not yet bowed the knee in submission to him. Not yet have I commenced to put away from me the allurements of my former excesses, and because it is only a little while since I have begun not so much to abandon my vices as to desire to abandon them, the devil now ensnares me in new toils. He puts new stumbling blocks in my path. He encompasses me on every side. The seas around and all around the main. I find myself in mid-ocean, unwilling to retreat and unable to advance. It only remains that your prayer should win for me the gale of the Holy Spirit, to walk me to the haven upon the desired shore. Letter 2 to Theodosius and the rest of the anchorites, written from Antioch in 374 AD, while Jerome was still in doubt as to his future course. Theodosius appears to have been the head of the solitaries in the Syrian desert. How I long to be a member of your company, and with uplifting of all my powers to embrace your admirable community, though indeed these poor eyes are not worthy to look upon it. Oh, that I could behold the desert, lovelier to me than any city. Oh, that I could see those lonely spots made into a paradise by the saints that throng them. But since my sins prevent me from thrusting into your blessed company, a head laden with every transgression, I adjure you, and I know that you can do it, by your prayers to deliver me from the darkness of this world. I spoke of this when I was with you, and now in writing to you I repeat anew the same request. For all the energy of my mind is devoted to this one object. It rests with you to give effect to my resolve. I have the will, but not the power. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but I think we're going to call it a show. This was a late planned show, and not many people could join this Valentine's Day, but I hope the viewers who were here since the beginning at least enjoyed it. I think it turned out pretty well. So you can see the banner down below. We're going to have the next show Friday at 8 o'clock. That'll be over the divine attributes with Militant Thomas or Christian Wagner. There's a few other people that are going to join us for that. It'll be a round table, our first round table. So everyone have a good night, and God bless.